Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome back. We are gonna be continuing to work on creating our specimen cards for our field notebook for Ceri the Crafter's Mixed Media March 2025. Yesterday's video, I showed you how to prep all of our base pieces for our specimen cards. And today we are gonna work on another specimen card, and I think we're gonna switch up which one we're using. And we're gonna do, I think we're gonna do some tiny toadstools, and I know they're bigger than, just trying to decide which set I want to use. I kind of want to use this set, and I forgot to bring over the paper that we're going to be stamping this on too. So let me go grab a couple things and I'll get to showing you this one. So I've grabbed a couple sheets of, this is the wet strength tissue that I used mostly as cleanup, I think, during my jelly printing in preparation of this project. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna trim these pieces down so they'll fit in my Misty. And also, while I have this out, I'm going to trim down a piece of, this is that Fingerpaint Paper I bought that I used when I was making my various jelly prints. So let's just cut this down to a size that's a little bit more workable. Cutting down to 5.5 by 4.25 because it's the standard card size, and I can figure out what size I need from there because I know at a minimum that will work. And let's measure our stamp. Our stamp is 2.5-ish by 2-ish. So I'm gonna get my decal edge blade out for this. You don't have to do this step, completely optional, but what I'm planning on doing for this slide is creating essentially a photo. Instead of the last one we did, we had the actual specimen attached on. This time we're going to create a photo of the specimen. And we're going to give our photo deckled edges because a lot of old photos have the deckled edges. So we need it to be, what did I say? It's 2-ish, but we're going to do it 2.5 by 3, I think, because we want to keep the white edge. So you'll understand in a bit when we get to that point. All right, so that's going to be our picture. Ooh, let me change my blade back. All right, so let's find our stamp. Where did our stamp go? This is very much turning into one of those kind of projects where I keep losing stuff all right on my desk where I just had it. Goodness gracious, I just spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to find this sucker because it was stuck to the bottom of my paper trimmer. And I was thinking, oh, it's gone on walkabout with my poke tool. I found my poke tool. I apparently put it back in the drawer when it normally goes in a pencil holder over here. And that's been missing for days. Oy. Okay, so we are going to stamp the mushrooms. But before we do that, we are going to ink so that we have just a white edge. And I'm going to find something better than that. Okay, I'm pulling the waffle flower mat out of my Misty. We're going to put our paper on it. Like so. We're going to stick our stamp on so we know about where we want to do this. And then we are going to create our clean edge like so. So we're going to put Post-its around to keep about the same amount of white all around-ish as best we can without using measurements and kind of eyeballing it. That did not tear off well. All right, and we're gonna grab a brush, and I think we're gonna go with some vintage photo. And I'm gonna come from off the page because I just want a light coloring. I want to try and keep my line crisp. Maybe should have used my painter's tape for this instead of these Post-its. Hopefully this will work and I won't want to go back and redo this whole thing. That edge is getting a little janky, so hopefully it'll be okay. And I'm gonna grab back, well actually this was from a different, the first project, and I'm gonna just wet it because it's got vintage photo droplets on it. Kind of tap that down just to give us kind of an interesting background. Peel up our edges. Not too bad, not great on that side, but maybe we'll stick something on there to cover that up. Another thing we could do, which I may do, they could come in with a pen and make the line a little starker, but I don't think so. I think we'll just find something like stamp, like from this guy we did the received, maybe stamp it and cut it out and stick it on there so that it covers that up. That sounds like a plan. All right, now we're gonna stick it back in our Misty. Put our stamp in place. Stamp it down. We're gonna try and see how the Versafine Clair does on this paper. Don't know, it's kind of glossy, but it's holding the distress ink really well, so. All right, now we're gonna set that off to the side and let it dry. If we can get it off our mat here. Uh-oh. This paper's super thin. I don't think it loves being stuck on the mat. All right, but we got it off, so that's what's important. But ooh, it left like a film down. Let's clean that off a little bit. All right, now that I cleaned that off, we are gonna bring over our gel printed pieces, and we're gonna do some stamping of our mushroom on there. Actually, let's turn this. All right, we're gonna trim this down because I want specific parts of this. I think I want the stems on the lighter green. Yes, we're gonna do that. Let's grab our ink. Stamp. Probably should have stamped it a little higher, but that's all right. I'm gonna stamp again. Put this so I don't get them that dirty. Let's see if that's gonna be about where I want. Yes. Stamp it again, because we're gonna paper piece our mushrooms. So let's bring over our blue. We're gonna stamp on there. Yes, scooch it a little bit. Let's see, make sure. even close to where I need it to be. Let's try that. That should be about right. Yep. Okay. Also kind of want that top bit on there. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is get our Misty out of the way. Feel like it needs to be glued to something to flatten it out. Let's see about just gluing it to just a piece of scrap paper if this is gonna have enough weight to it. And what I'll do is I'll cut it down. So I don't have to worry about the decal edge. I'm just gonna trim it a little bit there. There. I heard my dog groaning and I couldn't see him, and because he's laying down right up against the door coming into the house. All right, we're just gonna glue this on to give this piece a little bit more stability. That's funny. Or I folded and then didn't cut off all of the folded bit, so that's not laying flat. All right, that's better. Okay, so what we're now going to do is take our pieces and trim out the various parts we want. I feel like this is still wet. Looking at it, I'm like, it looks like it's still wet. It is still wet. Is this one dry? This one is not dry. Yes, no, no. All right, I need to get these dry before I try cutting them out. So I'm gonna hit them with my heat tool and hopefully that will dry them. I can't tell, my hands are so dirty. I can't tell if I'm like lifting ink up or not. So let's do this. All right, so we have now learned Nocturne, Versafine Clair, or pigment ink, not a great ink for stamping on this. But since these are the colors I want to use, we're gonna make it work. Be very bummed if I have to give this up because, wow, it is just, see, this is why you need to use the right kind of ink for what you're stamping on. I think that might be dry enough. We're all right. I think we're gonna try it. We're gonna give it a try. So what I'm gonna start by doing is, and then I'm just gonna do that over there, is decide what pieces I want out of which color. So for this one, I just want the stems of our tall mushrooms. That's gonna get glued down like so. Post-its and pieces of paper and everything sticking to my arm all over the place. There's that one. Let's do this stem and that stem. So I cut those off together. Sorry if my head is getting in the way. But my eyesight's not so great and I need to see what I'm doing. All right, we're gonna glue that piece down. stamp that a little lower so I can get more of that bit in this green. Let's see if we can make it work anyway. Otherwise I may have to restamp it. I can make those work. So we're gonna glue those on. Okay, we're finally dry. I didn't get this guy stamped over here, so hopefully we got enough color on that one, I think. So let's do this part, which is one more set of cutting out and gluing down. There we go. There's our paper pieced faux photo. I'm gonna go with our card. Where did I put it? Now I think we're gonna attach it. Oh no, just got ink on there. Oy. That's all right. Do it that way, or how does it fit on there? It does, but that's a little too big. But maybe. I think I'm using this, but then I realized I want to use that for something else. What we do is create a bigger piece like that. No, I'm not loving that. I think what I may do is get another piece of coffee dyed paper and glue this whole thing onto that. Let me go grab that. Okay, so if we attach that like so, and that guy like so, what I may do, what we're gonna do is modify this a bit. We're gonna trim off that black line. So the fact that we're extending it is less noticeable. So let's glue this down. Figure out where we need it to go till. I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. Trim the rest of the way up. That is so not straight. Let's try and get that into something resembling straightness. What's going on here? Oh, the blade's not in right. That's why it's being, all right. There we go. Did I just put a nick in there? I did. We'll figure that out. That's gonna go on like that. I'm gonna take a pen and just do a line around the top edge there. so that it looks the same. Brush pen, so that should work well enough. There we go. So you can't even tell when we stick our piece in place that it wasn't that tall. I'm gonna hold off on gluing that on because I want to do the splattering on that I did last time. Let's put a little vintage photo on. Spritz it up, kind of do like that. There and there and a little there and a little there. Then we're gonna dry it. And what I meant to do last time was use my fountain pen to sign as the collector. So let's do my signature. We're gonna put our date on, and it's the 2nd. This time I'm just gonna stamp March 2, and then I'm going to use my pen again. $18.25. Specimen number. This time we will block off everything except the 2nd number on there. Of course, I went the wrong way, so we're doing it at one of the bottom numbers. That's going to throw us all off later on. Our observations, which we stamped using Scripty Bit, which I can't seem to find. Where's the Scripty Bit go? I'm going to use the Crafty by Tony Scripty Bit. If it's not in this one, this will work. Yes. Yep. Okay. Again, we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to stamp. Stamp it off so it's not as dark. I'm going to put that there just to make sure I don't Scripty Bit over my name. So there's some notes typed in or written in. We're going to do the filed again in red. Should have pulled my mat out again, but we're almost done, so. Filed. Bring our picture over now that it's, and what we're going to use is some of my alcohol inked faux antique tape to tape the picture in place. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that. It's on sticker paper, like reused sticker paper, and so it's still getting some of the things pulling up. All right. We are gonna go cut some pieces off. Try and rip a few. See, when I rip, it ends up being like weird. All right. Here. And I ended up covering up most of the splattery bits, but that's all right. All right, we're gonna tape across there so you don't even notice that we got ink smudged. There's always a solution. You just have to be a little inventive sometimes. Go there. Put that there. We'll use the two pieces like that. And that on there. And then we're gonna do the received stamp. Okay, now I can't find that stamp. This is apparently the story of today, is me losing stamps. All right, we're gonna just find a different stamp to use. But it may be that I was looking for it on the wrong stamp set. Oh, all right, we are gonna grab a scrap piece of paper to stamp our receive stamp on. Just trying to decide what color I want it on, whether I want to do it on white, or let's see if we like it on white or not. Let's try that. Let's start there. We're gonna stamp in red. I did not wait for it to dry, so it's got a little smudgy, but I'm okay with that. I think I'm just gonna go with whatever's on this brush and do that. I think that works. And we'll stick it on like that so that it covers that smudgy bit we didn't care for. And this one will be done. So there you go. We have our second mixed media March piece done. And we've got our number 2 on there, our gel printing, and my signature. And it's rectangular. And so that one is gonna get set aside with this guy and eventually put into our mini field notebook. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.